Back to another session of chart mastery. Got something stuck on my throat right now. Looks like we're live on TradingView. I'm not seeing myself just yet. I see myself. I look good. All right, looking at waiting for YouTube to kick on the stream. You guys, let me know who's watching. I like knowing. Drop a comment, say what's up, holler at me. Alright, so it's gonna be another chart mastery session, right? I gotta work on these intros, they're pretty rough. I like to wait for the stream to confirm that I'm actually live before we get started. It looks like we are. So, welcome back to another chart mastery session. In the last couple of weeks, I've been highlighting that the ES. Well, before I go into that, we're gonna cover in this specific order: S&P, QQQ, Ether, Bitcoin, and then go into alts, and then take requests from you guys. Now, for the last few weeks, I've been talking about the ES, right? From the 24th, I said, hey, it's bottom, and I kept like pretty much making a joke for like 2 weeks, saying we're gonna turn here. And looking at the ES, and I was just running my moving averages on it and a fib extension, and looking at the daily, what we got out of the ES was basically what we get out of every liquidity move in the market, right? Whether it was 2018 crash, right? Or whether it was COVID crash, or this one, right? The market basically pretty much did the same thing to the previous range, right? It dipped down to these fib levels, created some liquidity below, and then ran up, right? Even if you look at like Facebook, I was looking at Facebook in hindsight this morning after this mega crash. Like, did we have an indication where bottom is? We sure did, right? Like, we just use our methods, and I think these are on shouldn't look like this on this chart. Right, it should look like that. So, looking at these, yeah, we had a bottom at 187. I didn't trade it, so now I have an alert set for 206, 205. I'm gonna buy this pullback, right? So what this stream's gonna cover, once you guys start asking me for alts and stocks, we're gonna find these pullbacks that we need a long, right? If we're not long already. Now going back to the ES, S&P, it basically did what it always does during these crashes, and also had that moving average confirmation. I really like trading this MA, the red one, right? I'm not going to talk about which one it is. I kind of conserve that to my VIPs. It's real valuable, right? Where's volume? Turn that off. And looking at this, from the 24th, every time we touch this, I'm like, it's going to turn around. We had a weak turn the first time, and then the second time, it's stuck. It's sticking. Historically, this has played out, right? And we've compared previous crashes where we should see a major 61.8 bounce before any further continuation. And something like that would look like this one, right? And we're not there yet. I think there's still some upside in this market. And I think there's probably a lot more upside than we're thinking, especially when it comes to tech, because throughout COVID, I know a lot of investors and traders, and like one of my brother-in-law, he's like he used to be a financial advisor, and the whole time he was looking at this bubble and sitting on a bunch of cash. And now he's buying things like Facebook, right? Like things like PayPal, stocks that really took a mean crash. Think a lot of that smart, patient money is going to come in, and then the seller is going to come back in, and we might even rally higher on the indices. It might not make sense in the short run, but I think that's what's going to happen, because stocks sold off like 70%. Indices did not, right? So that might bump indices even higher. So for my June QQQ calls, I'm going to hold those probably till June, unless we see some kind of indication before then. But looking at this, I think we still see one more leg up, at least 45.38, before we get any kind of chop out. Like, I'd really like to see that move unfold before a downwards continuation if we're gonna get it. But until we get up here and assess that, might even get 46.57 depending how earnings are and what comes out. And yeah, I think the whole like Ukraine scare is kind of over. If we get like a China-Taiwan thing, that's going to affect tech a little differently because costs are going to go up. But one thing we saw during COVID, costs went up, and who took the burden? The firms didn't. The companies made record earnings. They increased their prices. So the consumer took the burden. So I still see the market rallying until something changes, right? All right, so that covers the ES. Let's look at NQ, the most crushed index, right? Still wedging, right? And this one dipped below my red line. This one did a little something funky, but I still longed it when I longed the S&P, and I posted it in Discord. My position, far before, like maybe on mid last week, before these big up candles. I wasn't confident in that position to actually put out an official signal just because it's been rough, right? But I do think we still have one more leg up on indices. We might come back down to like 14,134 before continuing up. Now let's look at ETH and BTC, and then I want to take any requests you guys have. So let's look at let's start with Ether. It's just been more tradable than BTC. I don't know what that trend line's doing. I'd like to say it. It might be too soon. I think we bottomed, right? If we got to close above 29.14, if this keeps going, if this closes above 29.14, we are on, right? We're gonna head for a higher bullish target, and start a major retracement, right? So I think 32.41 would be our next target. Let me just clear some of these drawings. So I think 32.41 would be our next target, just based on this last swing, right? Or 32.43. What's going on here? Yeah, we gotta clear the zone, right? So we have, what I'm looking for is a 61.8 rejection, one of these red lines, right? Because that's what a lot of these continuations are. So you have swing high here, swing low here, and we're above this one. So what we're going to do is look for that larger swing, and I would go for even like a trend break swing. So if we do this, then we're probably looking at this one. So I think Ether can rally to 35.79, right? Like realistically, I think that's the next target, especially if we get it close above. And if we see this happen out of crypto, then what's going to happen with stocks? They're not going to keep going down, right? If risk is on, risk is on. Is there no sound? Hello, 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 hello. I have sound, man. Mic test. No, there's sound, man. There's sound. It's Dr. Technic. It's actually your speakers. I can hear myself. I can see my audio levels. So I think this Ether run is on, and it's going, and we're probably going to see 35. We do have Ether calls that we took up like in the zone for 3K in June. So we're probably going to hold those to 35.79 and see what happens. Thanks, Boss Hog. Almost gave me a panic attack. I've been rambling for 10 minutes. All right. So BTC USD. I mean, this is not. This is last stream, right? These are the last streams annotations. I haven't even touched this chart. I love it when this happens, right? When like we were here, and I'm like, hey, this trend line's gonna hold. We have to find support of 40K 912, and then maybe we break out of this triangle, right? And these levels have not changed, so my fibs are not broken. They're very much intact here. So ideally, right, we want to see continuation, just like it's playing out right now. And I mean, that's all I have to say about BTC, right? 40,912 should hold as support, and then we can get moving. Back to Ether, I saw something that I highlighted last stream, which is our in-house oscillator. All right, relative breadth index. It's showing a lot of constricted momentum on the daily, right? With a good bounce off bearish momentum, right? Like the red line is, geez. Here you go. So that red line, that's going to be our bearish momentum. The white line is the signal line, right? And it's really building up to the upside. So we should see a stronger up impulse, and it looks like it's playing out, right? And I do think 35.79 is the next target. I will not try to short it until it gets there. Let's look at your Jasmine, man. Before we do that, I wanna talk about Luna. I did something silly, you know, it was show this thread. This was looking nasty. This last Luna dip was looking so nasty, like ugly nasty, not bullish nasty. All right, at 89, you guys can see that. And then show this thread. Let's look at Luna USDT. Where was that dip? Right here, right? So this chart was selling off and it was looking super ugly. Like, who would want along that, right? It looked like a rounding top. Look at these candles, right here. You zoom in on that. Like, it looked terrible. And I was kind of defiant, you know, and I tweeted about it. And they said, looks like it won't happen at 82.98, right? And that's exactly where we were, 83, 82.80, 82.77, right? And I did take along. I did post this level in Discord beforehand, and I am still in this position of not taking any profit. Have moved some UPNL into a sub account, and yeah, kind of trading with those a little bit. But like, this chart is fibbing real well. It's trading real well. I caught it. If you guys have followed us on Twitter, you know, this is not the first time I post an entry like this on Luna, right? I actually posted another entry right at bottom, like down here. You can't even see it. I posted an entry here. I posted an entry here. One here, right? So I've been trying to tag these bottoms. I had a fake bottom here that stopped out. I had two bottoms in a row on Luna, and the third one got stopped out, and this fourth one is still running pretty good. So I'd imagine it's probably doing that channel that I highlighted in Discord. Right, so I see a bit of a parallel channel, and it's kind of still running, right? If you go to the daily, we saw something like this happen previously during this run. So I imagine in this channel it's going to be a real choppy shit show, right? And I posted that in Discord. I said, hey guys, like, try not to trade too much within the channel. We'll find another entry. But if you longed here, right, like, imagine longing here and then getting chopped out of this trade somewhere up in this fuckery, right? And then for the chart only to rally to $100 from 24, right? So that's kind of why I posted that in Discord, because I do see something similar possibly playing out on Luna. And then, you know, think like top of the channel is 114, 115. That's kind of what I'm targeting. I move drawings. What else? One chart of interest right now is Theta. I do have a long. I tried to signal it. It got stopped out. I was stubborn. I got back in. I see several reasons to be long on theta. First of all, it's been down for like the last 11 months. Right, it's holding up at fib support. Not only that, but we go in on smaller time frames, right? I think it's starting to do these smaller retracement shakeouts, building for a bigger move, right? So, broke below our long-term fib, down to 226, right? And then up to 345, and then from there it retraced. So we had this swing low, swing high, pulled back to the 61.8, and then pulled back to the 50. And even within these, like this last move from the 61.8 up, bounced at the 61.8 again. So I'd like to see the first up impulse on theta. I'm going to try to leave this one alone, like leave this long alone in its own sub account, because at one point I think we had a long like here, and like I sold out too soon, and you know some of our subs didn't, and it just kept going. I forgot where this long started, but it was like one of these dips right before a mega rip. So I have PTSD, so I'm gonna be making sure I don't overtrade it. All right, guys. So now let's talk about some of y'all's charts. What do you want me to cover? Taking requests. Any market, stocks, crypto. I mean, if you want to hit me with some forex, hit me with some forex. Let's look at Jasmine for Boss Hog. Jeez, dude, nice, man. I said I didn't like it because I couldn't trade it. So, but did we get a decent retracement here? I know we had, like, there's always a signal if you're looking for a chart entry. Is that a 61.8? I mean, bam. I don't know if I talked about this level, like this retracement here. But I'm not going to say it's the end of the run. But this would be a good time to take profits, right? I don't know what's moving this chart. Even if I go to the larger swing, that still looks like a 61.8. Yeah, like classic move, right? I would consider this bullish. Like I would consider this for a reversal if we see on it what we're seeing on ETH, which is a close above 48. Until then, this could literally come back down and make a new low, right? And I'm not just saying that to say that. Like if we look at anything that's sold off, like here's an example of Doge, right? That was a 61.8, right? You see that red line? And if I move this over here, take that 61.8 down to the next one, bull trap above the 61.8, even big picture, 61.8, right? And that held up as a top for a long time. And all the other continuations were 61.8s, right? Like this one, just like that, right? So Jasmine can be doing something similar right now. I'm not saying it 100% is, but if it was, like this was 61.8, this was not even a 50. You know, these are the kind of things I'd look out for to exit, take profit, or at least get some kind of indication where it could be topping. I mean, you keep up with that stuff. I don't keep up with dev teams and anything, so I just look at charts. I think something like, you know, news about the dev team, it's not really like, I don't think news is tradable intelligence because everybody has access to that news. Ooh. All right. Do what you do, man. You know, you did good buying it. I'm not going to talk you out of it. But here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put an alert rate. I'm going to put a note right here. I told Boss Hog this is the top on 3/21/2022. Right? I mean, sometimes it's good to be stubborn, man, and sometimes it pays off to be a stubborn bull. But what I just did, I'm even going to set an alert. And I'm going to keep the alert because sometimes, like, these drawings will disappear. I want to make sure 61.8. I'm going to say the same thing, right? Boss hog. Top. But the alerts will not disappear. And they'll haunt me. So next stream, we'll see how it plays out over here. Until further notice. Alright, fam, hit me with a token, hit me with some stocks, hit me with something. You guys don't have any requests, so I'm gonna call it a day. I'll get to run, probably hit the gym, run some errands, do some things, get an oil change. Alright, well, thank you guys for tuning in to today's stream. Hope you're positioned right? Hope you took advantage of these dips. Hope you got some longs in. Actually, before I hop off, I want to go back to the ES, and just so you guys know that it's one of the most important lessons you're gonna learn trading indices. Right? I think this is the most important lesson in indices. Right? Is when to stop shorting. Right? And I learned this lesson. I'm grateful, very grateful. I learned my lesson in 2018. Because during Christmas crash, I was short from up here, right? And I saw the Christmas crash. I'm like, it's going to go to zero, right? I had bear bias. And what happened to me? I got wrecked. Okay? Came the next crash. What did I do? For you guys that have been traded COVID crash with me, we knew exactly when to flip long, right? We longed in, like, I did my small account challenge right after actually, like, in Discord, I know I have bottom marked for COVID crash. This run made 38,000% on my Robinhood. Did a small account challenge, fucking to the moon. Shit went crazy, right? So, moving on. What's going on now? Same thing. Exact same thing. Same setup. Same technical setup. I could talk about it some more on the stream, but I don't think it would be fair. For anybody that watched my workshop that I did like a few months ago on Thanksgiving, right? I did a Thanksgiving Day workshop. I mean, you guys see my alerts here. Like I have alerts at 4123. Just let me know that we'll pay attention. But same thing, right? So when we see these occur, if you know how to draw your fibs right for these moves, you're going to learn when to stop shorting, when to flip long, right? It wasn't just an MA move. The MA helped me confirm it. But I mean, it's basically the market seeking liquidity. It does this very often, right? I mean, even that breakdown on Luna was very similar, right? I mean, you guys see in price turning at the red line, same thing happened on Luna when I was talking all that trolling trash on Discord, on Twitter, right? We even called this formation the Simpy Limpy, right? Because, drew a silly arc on it. And if you guys want to learn how to do this, there's a link in our link tree on TradingView that takes you straight to the workshop where I talk about where markets stop crashing, right? Where to buy dips. So I drew this and I put it up on Twitter and I'm like, hey, if this formation turns around, what are we going to call it? Right? Because, it was basically a troll move out of the chart. Like the chart was trolling everybody. This looks so bearish. You look at this, you're like, what the? And then bam, it turned. So, let that, be a lesson. Don't get your bear bias too twisted. Don't, also check yourself when you're too bullish. There is a point where the market's going to turn around, in any crash, in any scenario. and it's good to kind of have an indication where that bounce is going to be, where that strong bounce is going to be, even if it's not a permanent bounce, even if it's not a real bottom. But if somebody had puts on the ES and they didn't sell them, they didn't take profit on these puts, you know, down here, what are you doing now, right? Like, that's just, I mean, you know, not everybody can win. That's how markets are. They're two-sided. So, yeah. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you Wednesday, same time, same place. Until then, join us in Discord. You want to learn how I do these extensions to find bottoms? I mean, literally, it's a 3-hour workshop, and it's in the tail end of it. You have to learn a lot of things to build up to get there, but it's within that 3 hours. There's a link in the link tree thing. And thank you guys for tuning in. Trade safe. I'll see you in Discord. See you on Wednesday.